What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Frogg Talk. This is just time where I sit around, talk, and discuss certain topics, and see everybody else, how everybody else feels, and what if they have anything to say about it. Please join in. So first off, happy first day of spring. Starting to warm up, starting to feel more like springtime, which is nice. But tonight's topic is going to be double duty, more or less the how I see it, the advantages and disadvantages of playing both steel tip and soft tip, because I see good and bad in both of them. Um, so yeah, we'll go ahead and get started in that. If you look at not a lot of people can proficiently play both. I mean, not I don't want to say proficiently, but not a lot of people are like great at playing both. They're really good at one and they're good at another, or vice versa, but they're not great at both. And there's certain reasons why. There's some people that are, don't get me wrong. But if you look at the world as a whole, if you look at like Europe, they're all steel tip. Europe is pretty much all steel tip. If you look at the PDC World Championship, it's pretty much mostly Europeans because that's all they do is play steel tip. If you look at Asia, and their game is mostly 501 also. If you look at Asia, they're mostly soft tip and they're mostly cricket players. Now, if you look at the States, we got a lot of people that play both steel tip and soft tip. And majority enjoy cricket more than 501, but like me, I enjoy 501 just as much as cricket. And there, like I said, there's advantages and disadvantages to both. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into some of the disadvantages as I see them. If anybody has disagrees or agrees, please let me know. But one of the biggest disadvantages to me to both steel tip playing both steel tip and soft tip is for most people is the darts themselves, the darts they use, because most steel tip players use anywhere between like 23 gram to 26 gram darts. I know people that use 30 gram. I used to use 30 gram. So I know people that use 30 gram. And then soft tip darts you use between, most people use between 16 and 20 gram. So the weights themselves are the weight difference themselves I think are a hindrance. Now, one way that I have found to correct that issue in my playing is I actually use 20-gram soft tip barrels for both steel tip and soft tip. I just use conversion tips. Pretty much use the same barrel. That way it's the exact same feel to me. The throw's exactly the same. So that's the way I found to correct that part. Now, a lot of people like a heavier steel tip. That's just the way it is sometimes. One of the other bigger disadvantages, it's an advantage and a disadvantage at the same time. If you're going from soft tip to steel tip, I see it as a disadvantage. But if you're going from steel tip to soft tip, it can be an advantage. Is the size of your wedges and your marks, anyways. Like the triples, as most of us know, in soft tip are a lot bigger than steel tip. The board itself is bigger. The bullseyes are bigger. So if you're going from soft tip to steel tip, I actually have to take a little extra time when I'm starting to throw steel tip just to get back used to the smaller targets. So it just takes a little more time there. But if you're going from, like I said, steel tip to soft tip, you got the bigger targets that you're used to the smaller ones. I think that helps. That's just me personally. Another disadvantage I see. Matt Flanagan, what's going on? Thank you for that like, sir. Another disadvantage I see in steel tip versus soft tip is when you're used to playing steel or soft tip cricket and then you go to steel tip cricket, because for me tactics change between steel tip and soft tip when I'm playing cricket, and sometimes I have a brain fart and I'll be playing steel tip and I'll start playing with soft tip tactics. Sometimes I get lucky, it works out, sometimes it doesn't. What's up, Dirty Darth? How you doing? One of our friends from overseas, over in Europe. But some of the advantages I see are obviously you get more time playing. If you like me, I play more now that I've started playing both steel and soft tip than I ever did when I played just steel tip. Because I'd play one night a week out. I'd play the luck of the draw every now and then it'd be every couple nights I'd be at the house throwing by myself. Now, excuse me. Now that I got on the grand board the past few years, I can play any night I want. I can play people all over the world. I know I could do that on Dart Connect, but I never really did. The home version of soft tip to me is more fun. The away version to me of steel tip is a little bit more fun. I I guess I don't know why. Just this just how I feel. It's what I think about it. And then one of the other, let me actually I'll show y'all real quick. One of the other differences is to me is the dart setup, because we got here my soft tip, we got here my steel tip. Pretty much the exact same barrel. The only difference is this is a Gen 2 barrel from Keith West. It's the Gen 1. But the big difference for me are my flights. So I do have to use somewhat different equipment when I'm playing both. The bigger flights, instead of landing straight in, on steel tip to me, they land more up like that, and that's actually what I want. So that's why I have to go with different flights. So that's just different, more stuff I have to keep around in case I need to replace it, which that is what it is. Not a huge deal. But for most people, it's hard to concentrate when you're playing two different styles of darts. When you're playing steel tip and soft tip, it's hard for most people to concentrate and keep good at one and not the other. Dirty Dart, yeah, not bad. Fired up the grand board for the first time since before Christmas. Oh, it is a lot of fun. It is. I'm going to be back on it tomorrow night. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, there's been having some issues. So that's why I've been missing a few streams. We've been having some stuff going on at the house that's been taking my attention and my time. And then my computer is not doing great, so I have to look to fix that. That's why I couldn't stream Tuesday, because it's not running right. I think I'm running too much stuff on my computer, so I'm trying to take care of that. Hopefully I'll be back. I should be back up and running for Saturday, I hope. Anyways, back to it. Steel tip, soft tip. They both have their merits. They both have their goods and bads. I'm a steel tip player from way back. I still really enjoy my steel tip, but I do have fun with soft tip. And like I said, if you can find ways to mitigate the differences in the two a little bit, then it can make you a better player when you're playing both. But it's hard to concentrate on both disciplines and be good at them. I mean, it can be done. Don't get me wrong. You got people like Leonard Gates, Kevin Luke, Alex Spellman. They're great at both, but then it's hard. Other people, like I said, they play just steel tip or just soft tip. It's hard for people to do both. Playing a lot of steel tip on darts counter. I haven't tried darts counter yet. I usually use Dart Connect, but I've been playing a fair bit of steel tip. I gotta start playing some more. Trying to get ready for a big tournament I got in August. I need to actually play a few days a week, just playing steel tip, just to get back into it and get my head back into everything and all that kind of good, happy stuff. But I don't know. It's for those who are watching, those who are in chat. Let me know if you like steel tip, if you like soft tip, what you think might be the advantages and disadvantages of one over the other, or trying to play both. Like I said, to me, the biggest disadvantage of trying to play both is trying to concentrate on both. Your target sizes are different, and a lot of times your darts are different. So I fixed that by using the same dart with conversion tips. I get more warm-up time on the steel tip board. I try to get more warm-up time on the steel tip board because I'm used to a soft tip board, which does help. So I mean, yeah, that's the biggest things is just looking at the differences and trying to figure out if you can overcome some of the disadvantages to steel versus soft to play both, or vice versa. We'll talk here in a little bit on. I'm going to start going over some practice routines here soon. And of course, don't forget we got darts for ALZ coming up in June. Big fundraiser we do every year. Good evening, Miss Mia. How are we doing this evening? Yeah, June darts for Alzheimer's. Like I said, it's a big fundraiser we're doing this year. We do every year. This is our 4th year doing the June event. Still getting everything together. Still talking to people about raffle prizes. Still trying to figure all that out. We got races coming up. I got a longest day stream I'm doing this year, which is gonna be the biggest one I have. See, Dirty Darth. I find coming off the steel, the soft, the trebles. Yeah, the trebles are massive. And that's, like I said, going from steel to soft, I think that's an advantage. But going from soft to steel, it's not so much an advantage. And I got to take extra time to try to figure it out and basically re-hone in my darts on the trebles. I'm doing pretty good, Mia. You got one. Got one what? Mr. Keith West, thank you for the like. Say if Keith is watching, he can. I actually like to get him to chime in on what he feels his advantages and disadvantages are of trying to play both disciplines, both steel and soft. What do you think, Mia? What's one good point about playing steel and soft tip, and what's one bad point about playing steel and soft tip? Thank you for that like and share, Mr. Keith. Yeah, that was one of my biggest things, Keith. If you're going from soft to steel, it's a lot harder than going from steel to soft. Also, you are on your way to Virginia Beach for tomorrow. Virginia Beach Classics this week. Good luck, Mia. Have fun. Shoot well. Yeah, I was the other thing I was talking about earlier, Keith. With I see a lot of people. The disadvantage of a lot of people playing both steel and soft tip is the darts themselves, because people typically use heavier darts for steel tip than they do soft tip. And then I had to show, my setup for steel tip and my setup for soft tip is your barrels, and it's pretty much the same except for the slim flights on my soft tip versus the full size flights on my steel tip. Is the only real difference in the two. See, I shoot 20 gram either way. So I got used. I used to throw a 30-gram dart. When I first started playing steel tip, I threw a 30-gram dart. And I did that for probably 2 years, and then I dropped down to a 24. And then when I started throwing soft tip, I actually dropped my steel tip dart even lighter. And right now I'll throw a 20 gram for both of them. Throw lines, there is a difference in the two throw lines, but I don't see as much of a difference to me. Some people, it does kind of mess with them. To me, it doesn't bother me much. Yeah, Dirty Darth throws 18 for soft, 21 for steel. See, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people, they throw two different weights, and that kind of screws with them. That's why I got used to throwing. Bob Gavin, thank you for that like. That's why I started weaning myself down to a lighter dart, and then finally went down to a 20-gram dart for steel tip. That way I can throw, like I said, they're different but same. The darts are different but the same. 3 inches roughly, it is a difference, but like I said, to me that doesn't. I don't see it affecting me at all. Some people do. Mr. Bob Gavin said it's a mind game. Yeah, it can be a mind game on people when you're transitioning between the two. Like I said, there's people out there that are really good at both, and there's people out there that stick with one and they're really good at it. I'm okay at both of them. I'm not great at either of them, but I have fun with both of them, and to me, if I'm not having fun, there's no use in playing. So, as long as I'm having fun, I'm doing good. Well, there's like I said, there's a lot of people out there that can do both. Leonard Gates, like I was mentioned earlier, Alex Spellman, Adam Savita, they could all play both really well. Kevin Luke. There's a lot more than that out there, but if I made the comparison earlier, if you look at Europe, Europe is all steel tip. But if you also look at the PDC Worlds tournament, the majority of the players in that tournament are European. So yeah, I try to have fun no matter whether I'm playing steel tip, whether I'm playing soft tip. Yeah, if anybody else wants to jump in with advantages, disadvantages, wants to talk about them, please do so. I'm kind of here. I'd like to get these. Danny Baggish is outstanding, but yeah, I didn't even think of him. I don't know why I didn't think of him, but yeah, Danny Baggish is outstanding at both of them. Um, Great. He's a great player, great all around guy from my understanding. Like I said, there's you got Kevin Luke, you got Spellman. Owen, you want to stick with your 16 gram darts? There's nothing wrong with sticking with a lighter dart for steel tip. If you look at Ram Guevara, he throws a 9 gram dart, and he throws the same 9 gram dart for steel tip and for soft tip. Now he doesn't compete on the steel tip end as much, but he does compete on it, and he still throws a 9 gram dart. To me, that would be too light even for soft tip, but it that's what I try to do. Is I try to stick with pretty much the same dart for both. That way, my grip is the same placement, it's the same weight, my throw is exactly the same. Because if I'm throwing with a heavier dart versus a lighter dart, I actually have to adjust my throw to accommodate for the weight difference in the dart, and therefore it's better muscle memory for me. Alex Milk, that's another one, or Elliot Milk. Sorry, Elliot Milk's another one that's a fantastic steel tip and soft tip player. Yep, yeah, 9 grams is what Ram Guevara throws, and I thought that was crazy for soft tip. And then I found out he uses the exact same barrels for steel tip. I'd like to get a set of those just to try them out, just to see what they feel like. I actually think Q Soul did a new launch, a mini product launch a couple of days ago, and they put a set of what they call practice darts in there, and I think they're only like 9 or 10 gram darts. I have to double check on that, but I know they're fairly light darts. And earlier, I'm just kind of recapping a few things I said since we got a few more people in here. The biggest, see, Bob, that's what dart's supposed to be about, is meeting other dart players, having a drink with them remote. It, I can agree with you there, Bob. I can, but if I'm playing steel tip, I generally like to go out and play. I mean, I do my Saturday night steel tip stream from here. I have played DPFL and I had a lot of fun with it, but I seem to I like to go out and interact with other people when I'm playing steel tip. When I'm playing soft tip, I'll sit at home all day long and play. It doesn't bother me any. Grab a few crow feathers. Thinking 9 gram, you would need a car. Yeah, you probably would need a carbon shaft to put a little bit of weight in it. But that's actually what I use. Is I use the steel tip or the steel tip the excuse me. I use Keelsteel carbon shafts, and they do add just a little bit of weight to the back end of them. Those would be fun to try. I would like to try. I'd love to try some really light stuff just to see what they're like. I've heard the termites are interesting, but never tried anything. I've never tried anything under 15 grams. I think it'd be fun to mess around with them, play around with them. Maybe even do a stream and just use those the whole stream just for the fun of it. Another thing I wanted to go over today is if anybody has anything they would like to see me try or do on my streams, let me know. If you would like to see a little bit of change up here, there, If you'd like to see, I don't know, just anything anybody might want to see, let me know, and I'll see what I can do about that. I'm working on a few more things for mine. Trying to get my computer issues straightened out first before I go too much further with anything else. Make sure I catch up on everything. But another thing that difference I see. All right, Bob, I appreciate that, bud. I really do. And like I said, I'll use them for. I'll do a whole stream using them just for the fun of it. Just I like to do stuff a little different. AK4 and AK7 broke. Um, I'll get back to you in a second, Darth. But yeah, I like to do stuff a little fun, a little different on the streams, and just something like that. So yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. See the app, Dart's Mind, automatically tracks your score. I'll have to look into that. I don't use any auto scoring right now. When I play Steel Tip, I use Dart Connect. Eventually, I'm gonna get into the probably get into the Grand Eye, but it's gonna be a while before I can get into the Grand Eye. But that's something I'd eventually want to get into. See Darth, your AK 4s and 7s broke. What type of shafts were you using? Were you using just the regular plastic ones, or what were you using? Because like on both my darts, both my steel and soft tip darts, I use the Taro carbons. I used to use the Taro plastic ones, and I would probably break a shaft every week or two. So then I went to the Taro aluminums, and after about 2 or 3 weeks, because I got a hardwood floor, so especially on soft tip, when I get bounce outs and they hit that floor just right, the aluminums would bend a little bit, which would throw me off. And then I went to the Taro carbons, which I've been using this exact same set of shafts. I haven't changed them since last April. I've been going on almost a year of using the exact same set of shafts for the carbons. And these I've been throwing since, actually on my steel tip darts since about the same time. So I've been using them on both my steel tip and my soft tip darts for almost a year now. Haven't bent one, haven't broken one. They're a couple dollars more, but they're definitely worth it. Bob, I stream, playing wise, I stream usually Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern on my 132 board. I stream Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern on my 132 board. I stream Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, and that's on Dart Connect playing Steel Tip. And then I stream Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. for Coffee and Cricket, where I'm back on the grand board, but I'm on the big grand board, and we only play cricket. All right, yeah. If you decide to order any more, look into the Taro carbons. You will not. I guarantee they will not disappoint. I can't tell you how happy I am with mine. Like I said, I've been using the exact same set of shafts. I have not changed a single shaft in almost a year. And for the plastic ones, I was changing at least one shaft, like I said, at least once a week or every other week, at least, if not more. Crowbar, what's going on, buddy? Thank you for that like, sir. How you doing? But so yeah, I mean that's like I said earlier. We were talking about differences and advantages and disadvantages of throwing both steel tip and soft tip. Dirty Darth Keith broke a couple shafts, the regular Taro shafts. He's one of our good friends from over in Europe. He's actually watching on YouTube right now. But yeah, definitely check the Taro carbons. I think they're maybe $5 or $6 more for 3 shafts, but they will not disappoint. You'll love them, and you won't have to change them nearly as often, and therefore you won't spend nearly as much money on them. I think I ordered 4 sets of them, and I've been using the set on my steel tip, same soft tip. Like I said, almost a year. I've still got 2 sets stashed away somewhere just in case. So yeah, just kind of like I said, we were going through difference between steel tip and soft tip, and kind of went through that. Now we're just talking and all that. If anybody else is watching wants to jump in, if you got want to talk about any differences that you see between steel tip and soft tip, advantages or disadvantages of, or if you just want to talk about anything with darts, let me know. Yeah, Mr. Walter Jenkins, Mr. Danny, that's who I was talking about, Keith, who broke a couple of the tarot shafts. Yeah, actually, Keith is a QSOL player, so he'd be another good one to chime in on that stuff. I've been using the same darts for around 30 years, same flights, shafts. Getting to play soon. I got to run, meet in the middle. I appreciate that, Bob. Thank you very much for stopping in and talking. We will see you soon. See, that's the other thing. I think Keith said he won't throw anything but the Terra carbons. Now, that's exactly how I am, Keith. I don't throw anything but carbons. Like I said, steel, soft, doesn't matter. They're going to have my Terra carbons on there. I used to go through probably 10, 15 sets of shafts a year. No, it wasn't quite that much. But I'd probably buy 6 sets of shafts a year, and I'd go through them. But I haven't needed to. So now I got off on a tangent. I was gonna say something. I can't remember what it was. Oh well, it's all right though. We could let the chat drive this train. I don't care. Those I want to get my hands on. I want to get my hands on a set of the 26 millimeter. I can't remember which ones they're called. They got the little. They don't have the ribs on them. They got the little dimples in them. Those are the ones I want to try. Yeah, I was real excited when I saw Q Soul's new points coming out, and I actually I like the jewelry that they've released too. The snakeskin, okay, yeah, I couldn't remember what they were called. I saw a picture of them. Those look phenomenal. Those are what I want to try, but I need to try the I think they're the 26 millimeter, the shortest ones they've got. AK-57s for steel tip, slim. The, Mr. Darren, thank you for that like, sir. Yeah, the slims are nice. Like I said, slims are what I use for my soft tip. My steel tip, I like the other ones because they'll kick the back end of the dart up a little bit. So if I hit the top of like a treble or right above a treble 20, it'll kick the back end up. So I got some room to get underneath it. But actually, Keith, that's in the chat, he was the one that got me started with Q Soul 3 years ago. I met him on Facebook. I think I put out a post on Facebook because he was kind of a random dart friend, and I just put out a post on Facebook asking if Q Soul was worth the hype and why it was so good and this, that, or the other. And he sent me a set of tarots. And ever since then, ever since I got those and tried them, that's all I've used is Q Soul. And I graduated from just using their shafts and flights to that's all I use is Q Soul products. Whether it's barrels, shafts, flights, tips, cases. I even got the Q Soul backpack over there somewhere. Oh yeah, we have been best friends. We've been great friends since. I've gotten the pleasure to meet Keith a few times. We talk what 3, 4, 5 times a week. It's been interesting because like you said, I met him on Facebook. He sent me a set of shafts and flights. Then that year was the last year you came to WADA, I believe. And I met him there because WADA is basically in my backyard. It's a big steel tip tournament. It's in my backyard. So I met him there. Hung out with him then. He came down from Darts for Alzheimer's last summer for one of my fundraising streams. Got to hang out with him. It's yeah. I know you'll be there this year. Me and I are counting on you this year because you got to be our mixed trips partner and you got to be my men's doubles partner. So we're counting on you. We just got to find you a mixed doubles partner because I'm partnering up with Mia this year again. It's interesting that something like darts can just how it brings people together and how you meet people and you become good friends with them and you talk to them all the time. I mean, Keith lives 9-10 hours away from me and we talk all the time. So it's great that something like this can do that and just like everybody over in Europe I've talked to, people all around the world. It's great that you can bring people together like that, especially online. That's the easiest way to do it. Stay at your house and you can just play and get to know everybody. I think I might do that for my next Frog Talk. You can put a skirt on. Hey, if you want to make it all the way over here to play, that would be kind of funny. Mr. Kevin, what's going on, buddy? Thank you for that like. I think I might do my next Frog Talk on the popularity of online darts. I think that might be a fun one to talk about. Give me a little bit of research to do on it. Because most of these I just talk about what I see and how I feel about it and what I think about it. But yeah, Wada, like I says, it's tournament in my backyard. I've gone 3 times now. It's always a lot of fun. I enjoy it. You know, a lot of big name players. Usually, Alex Spellman goes. Last year, Leonard Gates was there last year. I actually had to play him in cricket last year, first round of men's doubles cricket. I had to play him. Kevin Luke goes. Sally Kelly goes. I mean, the list goes on and who goes to that one. That's one of the big ones. Just like Virginia Beach this weekend, a lot of them are going to be down there for Virginia Beach, which that's one that I'm going to try to make one of these years because that's only about 4 hours from me. 3 hours, something like that. Mr. Kevin, how you doing, buddy? So something else I wanted to touch on a little bit, and I would just get everybody's opinion on there, see what everybody else does, is practice routines. What do y'all do for your practice routines? For me personally, if I'm practicing soft tip on the gram board, I'll do regular count up, throwing it just bowls, and then I'll do another count up, throwing it just 20s, and then I usually do a cricket count up, and then they've got one of the extra games you can get. It's called Spider, which helps you practice on your outs. Keith's playing 121 right now. That's a fun one. And then steel tip, I do. There's an app called My Darts Trainer that I use, and it's got a target. They call it the target one, where it's basically you can pick any number on the board, bullseye or whatever, and you throw 33 darts at it, and you hit whether you hit a triple, double, single, miss each dart. You click it in. Brilliant idea at the moment. Darts product is nowhere on the market. I made and tested it. Works. The problem is trying to get it to the market. Huh. Well, if you made it and tested it and it worked, are you? I'm a little intrigued about that one. You've made it, you've tested it, it works. Problem is trying to get it to market. I'm a little intrigued about that. I wouldn't go off telling everybody about it, but I'm a little intrigued about that one. But yeah, darts counter or my darts trainer. You throw 33 darts at your target number. Usually mine's 20s, and then I play. I do. It's called finishing 50, where you start out on 50 and you have 3 darts to finish off 50. If you don't finish it in 3 darts, then you go down to 49. And if you don't finish that, you go down to 48. So if you don't finish one, you go down 1. But say you go down to like 45, you haven't finished one, you finish 45, then you would actually go up 10. So you go up to 55. And then if you finish that 55 and 3 darts, then you go up to 65 and so on and so forth. And usually it's about 25 tries in and out to see how many I get. And then I actually play 170 against the computer, usually about 5 rounds of that. And that's pretty much my steel tip practice. Every now and then I'll do around the world. And then Paul Rogers the other day gave me an idea that I'm going to start doing. I'm basically going to take a 20-sided dice and roll it, and whatever number that lands on, that's the double that I'm going to concentrate on trying to hit. And then once I hit that double 3 times in a row, then I roll it again and try another one. Yeah, you have to get it patent. Yeah, that's a big thing. If you got something that's not on the market that you think is very usable, you got to look into getting it patent first. Get it patent, start producing it, let me know what it is, and then maybe I'll start advertising for you. Try to get you some sales over here in the States. But so yeah, that's pretty much what I do for practice routines. If, other than Keith, like I said, plays 121. If anybody else has got any other practice routines they'd like to share. And I've even tried the practice stuff like the target rings where you put those rings on your board and you try to get your darts in them. It didn't help me in one. It didn't help me in a. I know it can take a while. It can take up to 4 years. But yeah, those practice rings didn't help me one bit. And then they got the practice foam, which you can make that out of a piece of cardboard. But to me, it's just same thing over and over again, trying to get the muscle memory, trying to get my aim down. My biggest thing is I have matches where my points aren't an issue. I can get down in points, but I can't throw a single setup right. I can't throw a double right. And then the very next match is I can't even score enough points. If I'm lucky enough to get down, then I can hit the double the first try. I just can't stay consistent with it. Working on checking out 25 inches difference, 3 darts, 82 in, 3 darts, 64 and 3 darts. Okay, yeah. I can see that. That's weird. I lost my chat and it came back and missed half of it, but oh well. And I'll sometimes I'll get on and play against Dart Connect. Work on checking out 25 and 3 darts, 82 and 3 darts, 64 and 3 darts. Yeah, phone autocorrect to Keith. Stupid phone autocorrect. My problem is my fat fingers. Yeah, I'll usually play a couple levels up ahead of where I'm at in Dart Connect to see how bad I do or how good I do. Very rarely do I practice cricket on steel tip. Usually I just playing on soft tip. Anything else? We got anything else going on tonight? Those are pretty much the few things I wanted to talk about and see what everybody else was doing and how everybody else is doing and all that kind of good stuff. I had mentioned Darts for Alzheimer's earlier. Don't forget to like, follow, share the Darts for Alzheimer's page on Facebook. That's where you'll get all the information for Darts for Alzheimer's. We already got some of our raffle prizes being confirmed. I'm going to do, I think it's 5 races this year. Keith West and I are doing one. This will be our Premier League is on. Okay. I think this is our 3rd June race for Darts for Alzheimer's between me and Keith. We do one of those every year in June for Darts for Alzheimer's, and we also do a race right around Christmas time every year just for the fun of it. So him and I are going to be racing on steel tip, Luke the Nuke, and the MVG final. That'll be a good one. Racing Sharky on steel tip. I'm racing Paul Rogers on soft tip. I'm racing Millsy on the 132. I want to say another guy, Tim Collins. I'm racing him on Grand Board. So there's 5 races I've got this year, and I've got my longest day stream, which seems to keep getting longer and longer. And I try to one year I try to do better than the last year, and this year my goal, I don't know how I'm gonna beat my goal next year for this year, but I'm gonna try it. But my goal this year is a 24-hour stream. Last year I went 14. Yeah, Keith. This is our 3rd year to throwing the race for Darts for Alzheimer's. It's become a yearly tradition with me and Keith. Paul Rogers. This is his and my 2nd year throwing. It's becoming a yearly thing for me and him throwing for Darts for Alzheimer's. Yeah, we're going to do the raffles the same way we've done them every year. For every $20 you donate, you get 1 entry to the raffle. I'm hoping to have each of my one of mine too, Keith. I always look forward to Darts for Alzheimer's. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it, and I always look forward to it. But I'm gonna try to have a sponsor for every one of my special streams, and the prize for that stream will be something to do with the sponsor for the stream. And what we do is for special streams we'll have, say I've got a jersey I'm giving away for the race me and Keith are doing. If you donate during that stream, then you get an entry to the spin wheel. You only get 1 entry per stream for that, but you get an entry to the spin wheel, and everybody who donated during that stream, at the end of the stream, we do the spin wheel, and whoever wins the prize wins the prize. Then at the end of June, for every $20 you donated, you get 1 entry into the spin wheel, capping them off at 20 entries. And we take a bunch of prizes we still have, and we just keep spinning until they're all given away. Last year we raised almost $5,000. The year before that was like $2,300. This year our goal is $4,000, and I think we're sitting. I'll tell you here in a minute. Actually, we're sitting. Gotta close you out for a minute. Sorry, I forgot I can't type. I'll do it by my phone. Yeah, I forgot the way I got my stream set up is if I type certain things, it changes views, so it just changes view on everybody. So I'll just use my phone. I want to say we're 23 something this year so far, and we still have till the end of August. But June, the month of June is our big push. Yeah, it's a big thing for us to do this, and I like doing it personally. It's definitely worth it to me. We hit 5K. Don gets a Darts for Alzheimer's tattoo. I want to see that tattoo. I got to get one eventually. I don't remember my login. Oh well, I'll post it later. I don't automatically sign in on my phone, so I can't remember my login off the top of my head. I can't look at it on my computer right now. Luke just hit a 9-darter in Premier League. Yeah, Littler. Keith said it too. Littler just hit a 9-darter. He's hit a couple this year. Yeah, Keith. If when Dawn gets that tattoo, I want a picture of it. I'm gonna put it right on the Darts for Alzheimer's cover page. I know if we hit 10 grand this year, Paul Rogers loses his hair, his beard, his mustache. He goes completely bald from the neck up, and I'm doing the same thing. So that's a big goal, but it's Something you won't see very often. Me and Paul Rogers going completely bald from the neck up. All right, but yeah, that was pretty much all I had to talk about tonight. If anybody else has anything they want to talk, discuss, and say, whatever, throw it out in the chat. If not, here in a minute or two, we're gonna go ahead and call it a night and take care of a few things before I go to bed and get up and go to work tomorrow. But I should be back to my normal streaming Saturday night. I gotta figure out a few things on my computer. I think I'll have that done by Saturday night, so I can at least get my steel tip stream in and my Sunday morning stream in. Those are the two popular ones everybody likes. All right, well, if there's nothing else, though, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you all very much for stopping in, hanging out, and chatting with us. I hope everybody has a great week. Don't forget, tomorrow night is Birdman Darts' second anniversary special stream. And he's got some stuff going on. So yeah, definitely check that stream out. Check him out. And I should be back Saturday night for Steel Tip. So have a good night, and I will see everybody hopefully really, really soon.